like to give a little clarity to concerning my last video. I want to notice somewhat of a concern, or I don't want to bring no confusion. Alright, so my last video actually wasn't pertaining to me dealing with any type of dismay. I wasn't dealing with dismay. Nah, that wasn't what was going on with me. Like, sometimes I can see or register another person's misery, and sometimes it's heavy because you want a person to have a better esteem in themselves than what they have. And it's kind of like that's something that I really registered myself. Let me get up. That I felt like I should speak on, because I done watched I would say insecurity take hold of a person's mind. That can create an illusion in a person's mind. Sometimes you can see the trauma so deep in a person. And I kind of just, I got sympathy in that area. Kind of just want to express trying to express some form of mutuality in that area for that person, because sometimes a person can go to the doctor and not really explain what's wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? And the doctor got to freelance and figure out what's going on with it. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't necessarily know that they're dealing with deep trauma, or they don't know that they're binded by, their critical thinking. Sometimes, man, a person can have, and I'm basically speaking for some people who have the gift of clairvoyance, but have a difficult time discerning the visions that they have. Sometimes a clairvoyant person can go through so much trauma, and they'll have visions, but it's hard for them to understand or discern when the vision is concerning them, or when it's actually concerning the person they're having the vision about. And that's where sometimes we can become an error, because it's difficult trying to weigh out, God, I see this person performing this act or doing something, but they don't know why they see it. So sometimes, they have dealt with traumatizing consequences of kind of neglecting the vision or not discerning it rightly. So now, if you're young, and you done deal with sometimes where you done been negligent, and you done had to undergo some traumas, man, that can cause you to just be like, all right, I'm gonna trust the visions I have and act on them. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we don't understand how the mind works for those who are in that state of clairvoyance to where they can visualize things. I've gained an understanding in that area to a degree, where this may be something to consider. Sometimes a clairvoyant individual is just now having, or they feel like, okay, I'm just gonna act on what I see. You know what I'm saying? And then end up being irrational decisions. But then they be like, I was right about what I seen. But they don't understand that the vision was given to them due to their actions causing that result. And I want to point something out real quick on why the Oracle pointed out this aspect in the movie. And those who are visionaries, who are seers, I want you to understand that God gives us this vision, yeah, but sometimes it can just be an algorithmic probability based off of the mechanism of your mind and how it systematically runs. You can visualize an outcome or the sum of an equation, and a lot of times that can be an intuitive vision or download you will feel. But God gives you that vision, not just immediately act on it. Sometimes we have to go through this method or process of first taking up the accountability and being responsible for why it was conveyed or given to us first, right? And include ourselves in what we're seeing. Because sometimes we'll have or we can see, or a person or a visionary could see some things. I can't say I'm a seer, but a person can see some things that happened in the past. And then we can see some things that happen in the future that may not concern our involvement, and we be right about it, and they'll be right about it. But then there's sometimes visions where we're going to see something, a person will see something in the future, and we don't know that we are part of the influence for why the person made the decisions, or why the outcome ended up being the way it was in the vision. And sometimes God could be warning us about our degree of influence that we're having upon a person that may cause us, or may cause the person to go in a different direction or make a decision that may be impactful, or that may be an impact that on a person that is having the download. Say you might have a companion. Say you see your companion doing something, like making the decision to consider another person. You may see the vision, and if you're not emotionally stable, you're gonna act on it, and you're gonna trust your intuition over some. You're gonna put your intuition and your instincts. You're gonna trust that, and sometimes you irrationally act before you actually decipher what's actually happening. You know, overlooking that your involvement in that person's life, you play a major or a key factor in their influence in the decisions that they make. And the vision may be accurate and right due to the sum of, or the result of, your actions. And sometimes that is the reason for why you had the vision, as a warning or a forewarning about your lack of discretion sometimes. And it may end up being a warning to a hurt or some type of pain that may come upon you due to your actions, or your lack of being able to rationalize. And I just want to suggest that if you're having sometimes a vision of a person doing or making some decisions that may not be a result to something that is favorable in your eyes, and you want to still service them, by just acting or relaying the vision, sometimes it may take a second to assess or involve or include yourself. You have to culminate every aspect to the equation, because we are all but one conscious. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, a lot of clairvoyant individuals end up being very lonely in this world due to a lot of traumas that they've had because of the insight that is placed upon them, the responsibilities at such a young age, and not really having that provident individual or someone who has that foresight to be able to educate them rightly and how to come into an exchange with, certain experiences such as downloads like that. So I'm only servicing as a touching point in your life because this may be very important for you in your future, in the outcome of your future. Because sometimes you can make irrational decisions based off of the visions. And knowing that I've witnessed some people in my life that I can discern that are clairvoyant people. Some people may not even know, but I know sometimes. And I can register sometimes the misery in their heart. And all the rejection and the humiliation that they have bore, I can register it. So, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I gave the video last time. And I'm only trying to intercede. Because, yeah, the oppression is real. The yoke sometimes is very uneasy, too, as well. It's like you come in this world deprived already, of parenthood. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're deprived of the proper education. Sometimes you're deprived of, that compassion, that love, of the intimacy that's necessary as a child. Growing up, having to, pave your own way can be very, very, very traumatizing, man. Leave you with some scars, some wounds, some hurt that you don't want nobody to come near. You know what I'm saying? You constantly got your guard up, so you're walking around with this critical state of mind, but you put on this front and this smile like everything all right. And you just think that, well, I'm just going to service and continue to do my duties, not really, have set aside your ego and not really have the humility to be modest enough to keep it real with yourself and your conditions sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge just popped up. It is, man. You know what I'm saying? And, any person that claims to be wise, let them be a fool that he may be wise. But a lot of people in the world are not going to give that leverage. The world is not going to give that leverage. You know what I mean? So that's why you really have to have a fervent heart. You really have to really love what God loves. You have to really carry that love of God in your heart in order to discern rightly. Because if you don't, and you're okay with a person receiving hurt or destruction upon their lives, even your worst enemy, something ain't right within you. You gotta understand and know and understand what ignorance truly is. Sometimes it takes one to know one. But I just wanted to share that, man, because although I gotta leave some things behind me, I pray that this message can touch you in your heart in some type of way. Knowing if you are a clairvoyant individual who has become very callous now due to sometimes how perverse the world is, how cruel the world is.
I know you're Neil. Be right with you.
You're the Oracle?
Bingo. Not quite what you were expecting, right? Almost done. Smell good, don't they?
Yeah.
I'd ask you to sit down, but you're not going to anyway. And don't worry about the vase.
What vase?
That vase.
I'm sorry.
I said don't worry about it. I'll get one of my kids to fix it.
How did you know?
Oh, what's really going to bake your noodle later on is, would you still have broken it if I hadn't said anything?
Great and powerful Oracle, we meet at last. I suppose you've been expecting me, right? The all-knowing Oracle is never surprised. How can she be? She knows everything. But if that's true, then why is she here? If she knew I was coming, why wouldn't she leave? Maybe you knew I was going to do that. Maybe you didn't. If you did, that means you baked those cookies and set that plate right there deliberately, purposefully. Which means that you're sitting there also deliberately, purposefully.
What did you do with Santi?
Cookies need love, like everything does.
You are a bastard.